until I had my children. And at that point, I'm like, oh, I need to buy a car.
I feel like I know where
So
this
I
is
still
going.
ride to this day, but like it's definitely different. Like I'm not doing wheelies like I used to. I'm not splitting lanes in between two semis. Like I'm not going a buck 10, buck 20 everywhere. I'm going like a little bit over the speed limit, but I'm kind of chill. When I say a little bit over the speed, I'm going 90, but I'm not going like 120. But I'm not on the bike all the time. And for a little bit, I was kind of like getting antsy. So Lego was a big part of like that, keeping me occupied, keep my mind focused, and it was definitely positive for my mental health. So as a veteran going through stuff, Lego has been a very positive impact on my way of life. Well, not my wallet, but at least my way of life, like mentally.
Hello, bricks, chicks, and minifigures. You are listening to AFOLs Welcome, where we talk about all things Lego from the perspective of two adult collectors. We're your co-host. I'm Grinch.
And I'm West.
And today we are sitting down with SHYTIMEismyTIME, an AFOL who turned bricks into a journey of growth. But before we get into that, West, you know what I'm going to say, buddy.
Well, Grinch, I have not built anything this week. Another goose egg for me. Coming up to my first round of kind of finals for my program, my school program I'm in right now. And so I've been kind of strapped on classwork and getting everything else done. So that's been taking the most of my attention right now. So no building for me this week. What about you?
I have not worked on my mock much because I've just been busy with work, but I did purchase the what are they calling it? Jack Sparrow's ship, the Black Pearl, more notoriously known as. And so I got the Sega Genesis gift with purchase and the Jack Sparrow compass gift with purchase. So I'm rolling in it. Rolling in it.
What a great deal.
And I started my annual rewatch of Lord of the Rings. So, just good vibes all around. Good vibes all around.
Nice.
And
That's
back full swing into football season too. So
yeah,
I picked a good time to move and not have my Lego collection, because there's plenty of other stuff to do right now. So yeah.
Is Lord of the Rings a fall movie, a winter movie, or like a spring movie? Because I could see it being all of the above. But
Lord of the Rings is a anytime, anywhere, any place movie.
There you go.
I do commonly associate it with 2 months, and that is
Seasons?
December or May. Okay. And I associate it with May because all the DVDs came out then. So that was like always the second time I watched it. But I associate it with December because that's when the extended came out and when it was theatrically released. So, and then I think even The Hobbit, that also came out around like December. So, because I remember I was back like college break. So I just it's a Christmas movie, 4th of July movie, Labor Day movie, Memorial Day movie.
Yeah, it's an anytime you've got 14
Valentine's
hours
Day movie.
Watching movies. Because of course you're watching the extended editions.
It's a Star Wars Day movie. I mean, just give me an excuse and I'll watch it.
Fair enough.
All right. Well, that was too exciting. So let's not get off the rails here and talk about the exciting news from this week. Exciting Lego news.
Yeah, well, Grinch, we had some interesting news. We just got a teaser. Well, we got really no official teaser other than a title for this first set, but we got the reveal of the Winter Village Holiday Express train set, the family Christmas tree. We got an official Lego teaser for the upcoming Star Trek set. And we also got a reveal of the Speed Champions Lightning McQueen car. So Grinch, what stood out for you this week?
I'm gonna keep it real here on the AFOLs Welcome podcast. I texted you the photo, because of course it leaked right before it was revealed, of the holiday train, and I said I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
And it just feels, I don't mind that they actually was semi excited that they were redoing the train, because I feel like, I did a ranking video of the holiday sets. I've watched other ones. I've looked at like brick set reviews, and the train is always towards the bottom. It's a lower quartile set for sure. Some people might really like it. That's okay. Doesn't mean you can't like it. If you like it, great. But I was excited. There was a lot more that they could do. I saw the price and the piece count was going to be higher, so I was like, awesome, proper train. And it literally is like, it's the same exact setup practically. I mean, the engine's a little bit longer, it's a little bigger, but otherwise it's like the engine, the coal car, then a little present trolley with a moving object, and then the caboose. Like, it's literally cookie cutter, the same thing. So, I mean, it's like Star Wars Episode 4, New Hope, and then Star Wars Episode 7.
Yeah.
Like, it's an orphan person you don't know anything about, goes and defeats this giant space station. Like, it's a relaunch. It's a Hollywood relaunch, and that makes me sad.
Yeah, you said that to me, you texted that to me, and what I was kind of teasing at the beginning there was like, usually in the past we get a description at least of like what the set is in kind of some of the leaks. We didn't hear anything really. We heard it was a train, and that was kind of, at least from what I saw, I didn't hear a ton myself. And we knew they were calling it the Holiday Express, which felt like a knockoff of like the Polar Express a little bit. So I knew, obviously if they were going to do a Polar Express set, that would just be the Polar Express. But I was hoping to see something like a little bit more in line with the Polar Express, but that's not quite what we got. And yeah, what we got was a little disappointing. Like you said, it was almost like blow for blow, a complete like copy of the original. And I am not a huge fan of the original myself. That's usually one that I just put on like a siding in the rail setup that I build and leave there as like a display almost. And then, because it doesn't really lend well, either of them lend well to being motorized. And the features on them of like the movement feels sort of mismatched because they use standard train, bogies for the movement, but they don't have like the pistons that are, critical to making a steam train work. And so like where you could have some really wonderful movement, there's no movement. And then they sort of have just like the Christmas tree spinning in the first one, and in this one the polar bear moving upside down, and it just up and down.
That tree spins really fast too. It needs to be geared down because like it'll be like, like it's like a propeller about to take off.
Yeah, and then like this really small like passenger car at the back, and it feels like one of these situations of like, who's asking for this, like, or who is this for, right? And then I really just don't understand the novelty of the 3D printed brick that's included in this. I really could not care less.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, great. Like, I love this journey for you. And Tiaggio had a great talk about how like, hey, this is actually pretty complicated to make. Like, I get that. That's awesome. That's so cool. I don't really understand like what. I think it would have been more impactful if Lego came out with like a press release talking about like the 3D printed brick and like its importance to the company, and like maybe a strategic move forward of like, we're going away from the injection molding and towards more 3D printing. That would be fascinating, but we didn't really get that, right? So it just leaves me kind of asking the question of like, why is this here? And what is the point of it? And what's going on? I will say, visually speaking, the light blue and dark blue theme of this train I've started noticing matches up with previous sets. And so they showed it paired with the Alpine Lodge, and then they showed it with the mail and balloon set from last year. And there's definitely like a visual connection between the three sets. And so I know in your video about the Winter Village, you kind of talked about the generation of Winter Village sets. I think this is pretty decent evidence to point to like a third generation of Winter Village sets, which I would say kind of start off with the Santa's Visit set and go forward. And if you took those sets, I think you'd see a very similar color palette across all of those modern Winter Village sets. And I don't necessarily mind that per se, but for someone like you or me who's been collecting from the beginning, seeing these rehashes done so note for note just feels like a little excessive. It would have been nice to see something a little newer. This isn't quite the Winter Toy Shop getting re-released, but it's pretty close.
It's about as close as you can get without a re-release. And I will say, like, I gave him the post office last time because it wasn't, it was different, right? It wasn't a downtown post office. It was Santa's post office, right? There was a
which we'd already had a post office, but
it wasn't a downtown, like it wasn't a city post office.
Like
it wasn't the post office for the village.
Right,
it was the post office that the village would send letters to, right? It was point A to point B. That was point B. This is literally competing with the train. I mean, I guess you're going to have both of them running potentially. Yeah. But then it's like, then you got two of the practically the same. I mean, they have a different color palette. There's a polar bear instead of a tree. And yeah, I don't know. I don't really care about the 3D piece, like 3D printed piece. The charm of Lego is Lego. So again, yeah, I'm not really sure what the strategic point of being like, oh yeah, like you start going down the route of 3D printing stuff. And yes, I know the wheels turn. It's kind of all built in one piece. You couldn't have a single mold of this. But the point is to not be ultra specialized, right? Like I'm looking at the Imperial flagship boat build that they have in the set, and I'm liking that way more than this 3D printed piece. So
yeah,
I don't know. I'm a little disappointed, and I do think part of the reason they did it is because of this next set, which is the family tree, the holiday family tree or holiday Christmas tree, which in some of the materials I've seen them actually have the Winter Village Express running around that tree. So I wonder if part of it was like, hey, we want to do this larger scale tree, like let's do a train that's going to go around it. And so maybe that's why. But what do you think of this tree?
I mean, I like it. I haven't like dug into it too much of what's inside of it. I know it comes with like another Santa's sleigh. It's not the reindeer battle pack we got a few years ago, so like it looks fine. I don't know if it's like, anything to go nuts over. The tree itself is fine. I like that you can kind of take it apart and rebuild it. I think in terms of holiday botanical adjacent sets, my preference actually is the wreath from last year still. I think was just a killer holiday botanical set. And I don't know if this tree is one that I'm going to necessarily seek out to like add to my Christmas decor, but like that wreath, I definitely could see that like actually being a part of like our holiday Christmas decor over like the long term. So
yeah, and so this tree though, like I like the elf knight with the, I'd love to see Sobek do some custom, like an elf knight army, custom minifigs with that shield. There's the classic space, Christmas sweater. There's the cat Christmas sweater. Like that's all good. But dude, this thing is $330. And I just don't see that.
Yeah.
It looks fairly big, but it looks big when you look at it and you see the people in the photo and you're like, that's pretty big. But then I'm like, is it? It's still not $330 big though.
One, like, we've talked about the different value of Lego sets, obviously in money and pieces, but I think the value shifts with themes too, right? If Lego were to say, hey, I got this $1,000 Star Wars set, or pick your theme of choice for someone.
Be careful how you say that, because I don't know if people would like the $1,000 Star Wars set.
Fair enough. Maybe they say like, I've got this $1,000 castle, right, or $1,000 pirate ship series. There's multiple ships in it, or a $1,000 Lord of the Rings set, right? Like, we'd be like, heck yeah, dude, like, let's go. But if they were like, I've got a $1,000 botanical set, you'd be like, what are you shipping me? Like a tree? Like,
oh, it's a buildable tree.
Right. Yeah. Like, is this like a life-size sapling of a tree that you're sending me? Right. Like, and then you start building it and you're like, this is just the same thing over. Like, it just, to see something so big that's relatively simple and repetitive like that to still cost like $300, it just feels like that is more than just seeing like a regular $300 set. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I totally agree about the price. That just, it feels like a lot.
Yeah, it does. And so I think they try to like chock it full of like the Elfenite, the ugly Christmas sweaters, classic space Christmas sweater, the light green or bright green, tank and helmet. But yeah, I think ultimately, you can get those pieces from a Bricklink reseller. The new plant piece for the leaves too. But yeah, I just don't see the value on this one personally. If you get it, if you like it, great. They probably are, gonna only do this year, and it's gonna retire this spring, sort of situation is my guess. So we'll see.
Yeah. Now, Grinch, we got a teaser for Star Trek. I kind of thought we were expecting that earlier this year, so it's exciting to see. That's really all we got. So I think there was a Captain Picard minifigure in the teaser, if I remember correctly. So cool.
Yeah,
I guess
that was
we're not really Trekkies, you and I. But
well, I think the thing is up until this point, all we had heard is rumors. So this is official. Right. And sometimes it's you forget. So you forget that.
Right.
What you've been hearing is a rumor. So this is them saying, yep, hey, this is coming.
Yeah. So that is fair. Then we got the reveal of the Speed Champions Lightning McQueen. And this is our first scaled up cars kind of set. And we've got it in, I think, 4+ and Duplo, but we've never quite got like a buildable car. What are your thoughts on this one?
And a secret price increase, right? This is $27.99. They were $26.
They've all been like for the last series.
No, the Honda S2000 is $26.
Oh, so $1.
Oh, yeah. I mean, hey, price increase. We got to make a big deal about it, dude.
Oh my gosh.
I was gonna buy it, but I'm not anymore.
Right? Yeah, that's just too much for me. I mean, I think it's fine. This series is tough because, the more that Lego sort of dabbles in precision with Speed Champions, I think the more that they point out that like their cars the pieces don't quite do enough. And so it's like, I think it's sort of like a losing battle for Lego is like and almost, I know we've talked about Speed Champions on the podcast before, and we've spoken as they've kind of modernized, but like, I think the more that Lego is trying to like get the scale and everything correctly in terms of like, not necessarily a minifigure scale, but in terms of proportions on the vehicle itself, the more it becomes apparent that like, I'm repeating kind of the point I just made, but like that the Lego piece can't capture all of the curves and details of the car. And so I think this Lightning McQueen model has some kind of awkward transitions and pieces where, if you're familiar with the Lightning McQueen from the show, it's a very kind of curvy car that just doesn't quite translate into Lego extremely well. But that's kind of my take.
It also has eyes and a smiley face, so it also doesn't translate to reality very well.
Well, this isn't just an issue with the Lightning McQueen car.
I know. I'm just giving you a hard. That car's not realistic enough in Lego.
No, but I don't mean that. I just mean like Lego is struggling to capture the actual car itself, like the design of the car. So
yeah, I mean, it's a little kind of too squared off, but it was a lose-lose. this is a hard one to capture because again, this is the first non-real car that now you can argue that like the James Bond car is not real, but it is an Aston Martin still. Like this is a totally made up car. So it was going to be a hard one to capture. And I, I think I've said it before. It's Lego. It's supposed to be Lego. And that's why I don't like that. If you wanted a perfect replica, then you go get a 3D printed one. Like part of the joy of Lego is it being Lego. So while I understand kind of where you're coming from, I don't necessarily agree with the fault of it, right? Because it's kind of a fault of the medium in the first place.
Yeah. Well, I think this is it's setting up an interesting question with Lego, which is when you compare this to something like what Mattel is doing with their Hot Wheels. And I believe it's, I don't know if it's officially Mega Bloks or it's just like the Hot Wheels building series.
It's just Mattel, yeah.
They're proving that you can capture quite a bit of detail while kind of maintain a consistent piece palette, but also while clearly making pieces specific for that car. Some of the things like the fender arches and stuff and the wheel wells have to be more curved depending on which car you're making. And they're not shying away and sticking to like very boxy cars either. They're making, I think they have the Gullwing Mercedes as one of their models. That's a very curvy car. And so I think it's an interesting, no pun intended, but it sets up an interesting intersection for Lego where, do you want to double down on the idea that like Lego, just like you said, is more of a generalist kind of medium and it should be able to be disassembled and used for whatever? Or are you going to try to continue along that path of making more realistic models? Not necessarily realistic, but increasingly realistic models. And that's kind of the direction they went when they went from 6 wide to 8 wide. So I don't know. It's an interesting sort of conundrum that they've put themselves into. So we'll see how it plays out. But
so you've bought Lego cars before. You're gonna buy the Mattel cars?
No, because I'm a purist and I'm
just throwing that out into the universe.
No, yeah.
Now, West, I need to
But I have backed away
up
from buying Speed Champions in mass. So
okay,
because I do struggle.
Are you going to get Lightning McQueen?
Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe not. It's not a day one purchase for me for sure.
You're not going to pre-order it? Get it January 1st in September of this year? Okay. I did want to quickly follow up on the news from last week.
Okay.
I've sat with the Death Star for a week.
Yeah.
And this is coming from somebody who does not plan on buying it. It has grown on me.
Welcome to the club.
Oh, I've been here. I've been here. No, I just wanted to say, I mean, I kind of felt like it was going to, right? The more and more I thought about it and the more and more I think about it, like, do you want just a giant ball of brick? Is that the point?
Right.
Like, would that be interesting from a Lego perspective, right? It's super fragile because it's just plated off, like the globe, right? Like a giant globe. It's so heavy, so there's just a giant Technic frame in the middle, so they'd probably have to make it smaller. Like, is that what you... And look, I recognize I'm saying, do you want that when I'm not buying either of them? But I'm intrigued by this one at least, right? And I was thinking, I feel like it would have sold better had they not have come out with the trash compactor diorama and the final duel diorama. Because those are both done really well, and it kind of takes away from some of the I'm blanking on my word here. Some of the pizzazz and excitement of the set when there's kind of two main areas featured. I mean, there's a few featured areas, but when two of those are ones that better versions of exist pretty readily available pretty recently, it kind of, I think, detracts from it overall, right?
Yeah. No, I think you brought up a great point, and it's an amalgamation, right? Because it's got a mix of Death Star 2 in it, it's got a mix of Death Star 1, but what I think it really does nicely,
Darth Vader meditation chamber, which is canonically not there.
yeah. I mean, I imagine they built one in, right? But yes, exactly. And they have like the kind of Speed Champion-esque shuttle because it looks like it has a Speed Champion windscreen on it, and like it looks fine. Like all of it looks kind of interesting, but it's just done at like a really weird scale, and it's like the Master Builder series, like the best version of like the Master Builder series that you could expect. So, I mean, I think it's fine, right? Like I don't hate on it. You have some really great minifigures. The first re-release of Orson Krennic from the Rogue One movies, and Galen Erso for the first time, who as a Rogue One completist, I'm going to have to go and buy both of them on the secondary market, which I'm sure they're going to be stupid expensive, but
sucks to suck.
That's just the price to pay. So anyways, I think they're kind of neat, but or I think it's a neat set, but yeah, we're in an interesting time here in the United States in 2025, in the fall of 2025. I think there's some economic headwinds that are gonna
still the summer technically.
It is still the summer. Yeah, fair enough. I'm curious to see what the holiday buying season looks like, and I'm curious to see what this looks like for Lego. I don't think 2025 is going to end up being a great year for Lego.
They've already had a press release just a few weeks ago where they've had record sales this year so far.
Well, I might eat my words, but I'm curious. I think the fall season and the winter season are going to be really interesting for shopping, and I think tariffs and some of the shenanigans going on the sort of trade front are going to make for some interesting news. So
yeah, I mean, hey, but here's the catch. If you go and pick out a Lego set for your loved one or kid or whoever, are you picking out the $20 one or the $200 one? Wrong on both accounts. You're picking up the $400 one because there's neither of those other two out there.
Yeah, fair enough.
Sets you up for that one.
Yeah, it's just interesting. So
no, it will be interesting. I mean, because there's a general feel of economic fatigue, right?
Yeah.
So there is still some spending power out there, but it's definitely feeling like it's slowing down. So
well, and they've said inflation here in the U.S. has picked up, and job report numbers are lower than they thought they were supposed to be over the summer. So all of these signs are signs of a market that's cooling off, not heating up. So as Lego is introducing more expensive sets, just as our market's starting to kind of teeter off a little bit, right? Like, it doesn't mean things can't change. It just means the headwinds right now are working against each other and not in favor with each other. So it's going to be, like I said, that's why I'm sort of ahead of time calling that it'll be an interesting holiday season.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get our next guest up on this show. Today's topic. All right. So today we are welcomed by SHYTIMEismyTIME. Welcome to the show.
Thanks
From
for having
army
me.
building and YouTube storytelling to connecting with the wider AFOL community, his journey has been one of creativity, growth, and connection. In this conversation, we'll explore how he's evolved along the way, what he's learned from the hobby, and how Lego continues to shape his life. Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
That was a nice intro. I appreciate that, man.
Wrote it myself. Thank you.
That was good. That's good. I need to learn from that. But yeah, thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here. I appreciate the invite. Yeah, I'm excited to see where we go tonight.
Yeah. So I mean, let's just welcome. If for our audience, if you don't mind, just kind of sharing a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, Shy. I go by Shy. Shy Time is my time. The handle. I've been trying to figure out my origin story with the handle. It's been I'm not gonna date your ages here, but it was an old AOL Instant Messenger handle. So I've
Okay.
had this
Okay.
like
Nice.
since
A classic.
like exactly. So I've had this handle since like what 1998, 7. So
Oh,
I just kind of kept it since. So from Friendster to MySpace to Facebook to like this Shy Time is my time has always been that calling. So I really don't know what it really means. I could like dissect it, meaning like I do this whenever I feel like it, which kind of makes sense. But yeah, I am a Lego fan. Been one since I was a kid. Had a huge dark age, which we can get into in a little bit. And then I recently got back into it like around 2016, 17. Then I started filming it. So that's where we're at today.
As far as AOL names go from back in the day, it could have been way worse. So the fact that it's, I mean, it could have been like Booger King or like Farty
I had
Pan or something
3.
like that. You had 3. Okay, so
I had
you had
3.
something to choose from.
I would go because you know how like I don't know at least how I grew up. Girls would always try to mess with you, or even your boys would try to mess with you, like trying to pretend like there's something like try to catfish you in some way. I guess you would say. So I would have other ones that weren't public. Shy Time is my time was one of the ones that was kind of hidden. Usually my handle that I used when I was younger, it was like duh, as in DA, lazy boy says, and then whatever I write, right? So that was my main. And then Shy Time is my time was like hidden. Like he would come
nice.
up when I felt like something else is being suspicious. So I was fortunate enough to have not only like one computer, I had like a second older computer. I mean, they were both slow and old. So I would like log off one, like literally like click off, like because you had to log off completely, get back onto the other line, and then log back in, and then go through that whole AOL dial-up, and then log back on as another name. Which I thought was kind of dumb because I could have just done it. I could just log off and log back in, but I don't know. The way I was thinking back then, I had to use different computers, but this is what I did. So Shy Time's my time kind of stuck with me throughout my life. All the other handles kind of fading history.
Well, first off, kids these days just don't understand how tough it was back in the day. And second, it's really nice to be talking to a fellow kind of mid to elder millennial and talking about Lego and everything else. So not that some of our other guests have been too young for us per se, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm an older millennial, so I'm in the mid 80s is when my birthday is. So, good times, man. I don't know where that kind of reflects upon where the world is today, but we've been through some stuff.
Yeah.
So does the Genzennial need to leave now, or you guys got this? I can bounce.
You're still,
okay,
Grinch, you were like the last. I think you are officially the last year of millennials. So you're more than welcome.
You're cool. You're still cool.
to be
cool. Okay, I'm still allowed.
Point, like I feel bad. Well, obviously I feel bad for us because we just can't win. But Gen Z also can't win because they got it even worse. And I don't even want to think about our kids' generations. Like I'm looking at my mom and my dad. I'm like, y'all really were selfish. Like, y'all fix the country to support you. And then Gen X's, they don't know what they're doing. And then millennials, we got screwed. And then now the rest of the generations are just kind of trying to figure it out. So thanks, mom, dad. Thank you.
You know what the worst part is when they sit there and they go, "You guys have it so easy." And I'm like,
I do that to my kids.
Uh-oh.
I think the generational guilt, like, I think that's a thing. Like, you try to just like, we have it so much harder, which, my parents did have it harder, a lot harder than I did. And well, I had it harder than my own kids, but we always want to have the next generation not feel the trauma and pain that we did, which then makes them soft. Whatever.
you just can't win, right?
Can't win.
Maybe that's the parenting goal though, is so that the next generation continues that, like, you think you've got it hard, like,
yeah, right. What are they going to say? Oh, you got it hard. We had an iPad. Like, you could just think. We didn't have to think about what we wanted to watch. Like, I don't know. It's I don't know what
we had to go to the Blockbuster. We had to go to the Blockbuster on a Friday and peruse the shelves for videos.
and we had to rewind the tape.
Yeah, if it wasn't rewound, and heaven forbid if the 3 copies were already taken, that was it. There's no like going on to Netflix or Disney Plus or Apple TV or whatever.
Do you remember when Netflix were DVDs that you had to like return?
Yeah, in the mail. Like wild.
So what's a DVD?
Our children are going to be saying that in a few years.
Our children are going to be saying, "Okay, boomer, go to bed. ChatGPT, please wind down my parents." And then AI will chime on and but Lego is what brings us here together, right? So yeah, the world might be tough. It might really suck. Things might be going on, but Lego's there getting expensive, and that's okay.
Getting us through it.
Shy, yeah, that's right. Tell us, you said you had a kind of a longer dark age. You got back into Lego in 2016. What, ironically, that's the similar time that kind of West and I got back in. I got back when Lord of the Rings, but I didn't like fully dive back in and go off the deep end. So what brought you back?
Well, I guess to before I even answer that question, I guess I should start with like the very beginning of it. When I was a kid, because now we can kind of see why I went to my dark age. So I was fortunate enough to have Lego as a kid. I was just a single mom, so most of the stuff that I got were hand-me-downs, or that's all I got for my birthday or Christmas. So my first set was like the black it was Castle, so it was a Black Knight's Fortress. So it was a hand-me-down from my mom's friend. So her kid didn't want the castle anymore, so I had to, like, they gave it to me. So that was my first Lego set, and since then I was like hooked. So like I got Lego periodically whenever I could afford it, meaning like, working for like allowances, like all the neighborhood stuff anyways. And I accumulated a nice little like collection. So like I had a bunk bed, but I was the only kid. So like I had like a little Lego city like kind of scattered inside like it was like one of these T bunk beds. It wasn't like one of these stacked on top. It was like that. So I would have like a Lego town, like either on top or on the bottom, on the sides and the shelves everywhere. And I used to pretend that whole bunk bed was like a mountain, which is a foreshadow of what I have behind me. So like that was that was what I had. Like I just loved it. Like I used to like, create these massive like wars with like little green army men versus like my Lego, and they will attack like the mountain and all that kind of stuff. And I just go ham. And I wasn't ashamed of it. There was no like, as I got older and started progressing into like, adolescence, teenager, sports, dance, all that kind of stuff. Like I wasn't ashamed of it. So, my girlfriend at the time, which is my wife now, like she's even seen like my whole Lego collection as a kid. And it wasn't until 2004 when I, enlisted to the Marine Corps, like that's when I put all my stuff in storage. Because at the time, my mom and we got like right when I graduated high school, like we got kicked out of our house. That it wasn't like anything crazy. It was more like, the place that we were renting, like the owner sold it or whatever. Okay. So we had to vacate. So I was already leaving. So my mom, so we were just kind of couch surfing with like friends. All my stuff I just put in the storage, and I kind of kept everything over there. And then the first like year and a half to like 2 years of my life, like I was moving around, and like as soon as I checked into my unit, like I just I did boot camp, like Marine combat training, my school. As soon as I checked in, we went to Iraq, so my stuff was still in storage. So at the time, no automatic payments. It was like you have to mail a check and all that kind of stuff. So before I left, I gave my mom like 12 checks. So I'm like, Mom, just turn this in every 12 every month. So as I came back, I don't know if you kind of sense what's about to happen. She forgot to pay the second to last payment. So they were trying to contact me. My cell phone doesn't work. I'm still in Iraq. And then they auction it all away. So I show up. Everything that I had from when I was a kid until that point in my life was gone.
Oh.
So that was my entire Lego collection. that was like my instruments, my violin, which was probably the most valuable thing in there, like monetarily. It was at least it was a 100-year-old violin, so that went for a pretty penny. My drums, I used to do Warhammer 40K. I don't even know if
Oh
you guys know what that is.
gosh.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
painted. I had a couple armies, so those are all gone. All that aside, the only thing I cared about were like my videos that I've because I was always filming stuff in high school. So my videos, pictures, my birth certificate, everything that it's like I can't replace, all that was gone. And that's all I wanted. I'm like, you can have everything. Just give me that. And obviously they weren't able to give me everything. I lit them a new one. And then this is back when, the United States was patriotic, so I definitely made them feel bad. And then and then after that, I just didn't touch Lego ever again. Well, at least for shout out to now. Yeah, I did, but like back then, I didn't want to touch Lego. Like I still, it just every time I saw
hurt.
Lego, it reminded me.
Yeah.
So it was a very bad reminder of I just losing everything in a fire. That's kind of what it felt like. So I started from scratch with accumulating stuff, which was fine. It was late teens, early 20s. I was kind of lost in the sauce anyway. So yeah, good. But I would still walk by the Lego store every now and then, because where I lived, in Glendale, because I went reserve, so I was like 2 years active duty, then I went reserve, or back to my reserve unit, and then I kept getting activated, so I just did active duty time as a reservist. So back then, early 2000s, you just kept getting deployed. So, like when I was home for a short period of time, like there was still a Lego store, one of the oldest Lego stores that there is in the entire country. So the one in Glendale. So I would still see the modulars like in the front window. I remember seeing Cafe Corner for the first time. I remember seeing Green Grocer for the first time, and I was always amazed by it because again, I had a Lego city or a little town. I guess it was not even close to a city back then. So I was still fascinated by that aspect of it.
Sure.
But as the years progressed, I never went into the store. I never went further than look at the window. And it wasn't until fast forward 2016 that I was like, ooh, I kind of want this. So that was when, my son was born. So in 2017, I went in. Like my kid's only like a few weeks old. And I'm like, what can my son and I build together? So I picked up Assembly Square and
naturally
Parisian restaurant. And like my son and I can build this. He's not even one yet. So that was the gateway that brought me back. And once I built Parisian restaurant, I was hooked. And then after I built like Assembly Square, I put them on like a little shelf out in the living room. My wife's all like kind of in the back, and I'm like, what else is there? So then I went back to the store, and then after some time, I didn't go like ham right away. I just started collecting all the modules that were on the shelves. I went back on Amazon and got recently retired sets, which was a big mistake. And then I discovered Bricklink. I discovered the whole AFOL thing behind it, and inevitably, I was able to accumulate every single modular up until that point with the next few years, to include like Cafe Corner and Green Grocer. Like I was able. This is back when before COVID. Like this is just after the Lego movie, so it was still reasonably priced for a retired set. Like Green Grocer, Cafe Corner, I bought them for $300 used. Like nobody cared. So like Town Hall was the most expensive buy out of all of it. And then it wasn't until like a couple years ago I pieced together Market Street for like $600. That was not that $80 set became $600. That's the most expensive module I've ever purchased was Market Street. So, but that being said, that was a spiral, was like getting all the modulars and rebuilding the city that I had in my mind as a kid. And as you see behind me, like those 3 shelves that I custom made, in my mind, it's a mountain where the city is kind of shoved into the mountain. So it kind of like just stuck with me ever since I was a kid. So that's pretty much what got me back, man. So like it was the modular buildings. Well, and using my son as an excuse to get a Lego set that he won't be able to appreciate for another 4 years.
It was the first Lego set with the baby minifig, so I mean,
The assembly
it makes
squared,
total
yeah.
sense.
Assembly
Yeah.
Square.
Yeah,
Assembly
yeah.
Square was,
You
yeah.
don't even need an excuse. Like there you go. Yeah, you're just
Right.
being a good father. So
Mhm.
yeah. No, that's a great story of just kind of coming full circle with your Lego journey. And I will say, there's nothing wrong with hand-me-down Lego. I think West and my collection as kids, we had a swimming pool full because it came from what was your preschool teacher, right?
Yep.
West that gave it to us, and that was our. I mean, we seldom did we really get new Lego sets, but we always had Lego because we just had. And a swimming pool, like, just a little kiddie pool, like the $20 kiddie pool you get at Walmart or whatever. Not a good way to store Lego, by the way.
Yeah.
I can still hear it just.
As we're like
now I
sweeping
cringe.
through it. Sometimes sitting in it.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So, no, it's nice. So, would you say the modulars then are is it your favorite theme? Are they your favorite sets or?
I would say it's like it's an in between Castle and the modular line.
Okay.
Though they're both like right here. Like I didn't really get back into like hardcore Castle until like the blacksmith shop from Ideas like came about. From then it was like over. That's when I got into like army building, and it was just like insane. I kind of like went into a hardcore spiral over there. But yeah, so the city I think would be my favorite theme that Lego currently has right now, since Castle isn't a theme that they currently have right now. So and it doesn't look like it's gonna go anywhere time soon. So I just love the modular line.
What's your favorite modular?
That's been changing. So right
Ooh.
now, it's yeah, because one of the things that I do every year is I rank every single modular. It's like one of the most consistent Lego video that I'll make since I started. But it's always been Parisian Restaurant. That's always been up there. It's always been between Assembly Square and Parisian Restaurant. But lately it's kind of like flipped a little bit with like the diner slowly getting up there. I used to not care for the diner. Now it's like it's getting up there. And then since last year, my favorite's Tudor Corner.
Okay.
I think that's where I'm at. So Tudor Corner, and then like Parisian Restaurant or Assembly Square or the diner. It's like the next ones after that.
The Tudor Corner set did feel like it really upped the ante for the modular series, and just detail and just everything sort of just was taken up a notch. And I'm curious to see what we get this year, because
Me too.
I'm it's going to be interesting seeing how Lego either continues that trend or tops it again this year. So
that's always the hard part, is like, how do you top a great set? And like Tudor Corner is a great set. So there's a tall ask for that one. So I feel the pressure for the designer on that one.
Yeah, we had Tom Alphin, the brick architect, on, and we talked about how Lego, as the piece counts get bigger, the set doesn't get bigger, but it starts to kind of feel like 1080p to 4K, and the Tudor Corner is 4K Lego. It is the high definition, tons of pixels, right? I mean, it really is, because it's the same space, right? It's the same. It takes up the same volume of shelf space of box, right? But it's just packed full of detail.
It's like a lot of people want like the older sets, like Cafe Corner, like the classics, right? The first three, but then comparing like side by side, if I had to put Green Grocer next to Tudor Corner, Tudor Corner is 10 times better.
Yeah.
The only reason why we all want Green Grocer is because we can't have it. So it's I like the newer modulars more than the older modulars. Like when I rank them, like the Green Grocer, Cafe Corner, Market Street, they're not very high. They're very low.
There's definitely a nostalgia factor, but like you said, you put them side by side and you're like, this is, I wanted it to complete the series. I don't know if I want it because it's necessarily like subjectively in comparison a good modular building.
So like, if you look at it, right? If you look at Green Growth, the classic, I call them classic because the classic buildings and in any other modular past,
pet store?
No. Why'd I just detective's office? So
Okay.
from detective's office on, right?
Yep.
It's kind of where I call them like new era type of modulars. Like there's a lot different going on. So you have like, the older modulars, there's like nothing inside. Like nothing. It's blank. So you have interiors now that are more intricate, like on the inside, on the outside, they're more aesthetically pleasing. So they're designed better, they look better, and they all have stories. Green Ghost Cafe Corner Market, she didn't have any of that. So when you look at it, it's like, we only like these because we were running off nostalgia. There's really nothing special about the old 3, and I get a lot of flack for that. But it's like, get the newer sets. It's fun to build. Like the older 3, and when I built the old 3, they were not fun to build.
Nope.
They were just like, okay, that's cool. That's it. There was no like amazing like building techniques, or I mean, at the time, I guess it would be, but in comparison to nowadays, there wasn't like anything mind blowing. It was more like, please don't break, please don't break, please don't break, as I'm putting them together.
Especially Cafe Corner.
Oh yeah, especially Cafe Corner. But we like lighting all these up. I had to take all of them apart, not like completely, but like I had to break pieces off of them. I mean, detective's office got broken up a little bit because it had the old dark brown base plate, so that broke. A couple of the older sets, like they cracked a little bit, but I'm like, I already modified it with like putting lights in it. There's no more purity to these.
I've started modifying the brownstone house from the pet store series, and I added like another interior, like a better apartment for the top of the pet store. I don't mind modifying those ones because, to the point you brought up, like they're just so plain on the inside, like, and you put them into city, like they just don't stand up to the new modulars. So it's like, why not just have fun? You keep the facades if you want or not. Like, it's the same building. Like if you're a purist and you're trying to just maintain like the sanctity of the Lego, like that's one thing. But if you're willing to make some changes, like you can do a lot of fun stuff with those buildings.
Oh, of course. Yeah, of course. That's why I love them. So the modular line it will continue to be like my favorite. I don't think anything's going to top that unless for sure Castle comes back, like not through Bricklink, not through icons or ideas or anything like that, like straight up Castle line. But we'll see. I've been begging Lego like it's cool, like to their face, like to actual Lego. Like I remember
because you're a member of LAN, right? So
yeah, but I don't know if I could say this. Well, I'll say this part. So I was someone in there was asked me a while back, like, what would be a game changer for Lego portfolio? So this is outside of LAN. So I gave him all my suggestions with, classic stuff as I want to. But, I did throw in Pokemon in there, but she kind of smirked. So I was just like, okay.
You guys cooking something?
Yeah, I'm like, what's happening? But I did mention the whole classic thing. Like, it doesn't even have to be like a full on, like you could rotate them out. Like you could have let's have a classic line. One season, just have like one wave just be classic castle. Next wave be pirates. Next wave be space, and just kind of rotate them out, or just have a line. There's already a demand, just do it. So I did throw it out there. I think they're aware. I just don't know if they're confident enough in that. But again, this type of stuff takes years. So around now would be the time when we figure that out. And recently we got like 2 new factions. I'm not counting the 2 new factions in the gumball machine because I feel like that's just a glorified CMF. So the 2 castles in the class in the Creator 3-in-1. That's who I'm considering that they're going to be the next 2 factions. So we'll see.
And we got Lego Pokemon, or are getting it, so everybody can thank SHYTIME is my time for that.
Wasn't me. I'm not going to quote what you said.
No, you heard it here first.
Yeah, it was already in the works, so I'm excited for it.
I mean, while we're on the topic, Grinch, I know you want to keep us going, so if you'll allow me to just, because we're talking about Lego Pokemon.
You were allowed. My
bad. I'm sorry.
No.
No.
What a steal. Right? I mean, Grinch and I did an episode that week. We weren't planning on it, but we both were just like, oh my gosh, like what I would love to be in the corporate boardroom when like Pokemon goes to Mega Bloks and they're like, "Hey guys, sorry, it's not you, it's me. We're going with Lego."
No,
Like-
it is you actually.
I mean, Mattel still has them, just not in block form,
Yeah.
right? So, you just lose them in block form. Mega sucks. So, I mean, I have a few of those Mega sets too because my kid loves Pokemon. And I don't know much about Pokemon past 151. I'm a classic OG Pokemon
I
fan.
mean,
Yeah.
that's the
So
only
all
one.
the newer stuff, I'm like, I don't know. Again, Pokemon, my Pokemon card collection, I had all 151 to include the Charizard in that storage locker. So like one of those things I just didn't want to touch again. So but I'm excited to see what it is. I don't know what it is. There's a lot of rumors going around. I don't know how legitimate that those are,
Yeah.
but I hope they don't blow it. That's just my hope.
Lego has historically done a pretty good job, at least with these things. So
We'll see.
we'll talk more about it when we got it officially, huh?
Yeah.
Before we get too far into the conversation, Shy, where can people find you and your work?
SHYTIME is my time, literally everywhere. That's Google. Yeah, you can Google that.
Google
Yeah,
Google
YouTube,
Plus.
TikTok, Instagram. You can also find my podcasting on a stoop on all 3 platforms to include Spotify.
Awesome. Well, we hope our listeners check you out because you're a lot of fun to talk to and you're a great member of the community. So let's kind of talk through that. You talked about this journey of, from when you were younger to an adult. How has, your perspective on Lego changed since then?
Oof. That's a pretty tough one. It's definitely changed. As far as the Lego itself has gotten way more expensive. I'm fortunate enough to be pretty well off with my career choice and what I've been able to like accumulate as far as like sustainability with finances. So it doesn't really hurt too much, but as my kids get older and their hobbies start to become more demanding, there's less play money, I guess you would say. And then there's more of investment things that I want to prioritize for them. So like I don't my budget for what I allow myself to get has definitely decreased and now less things are able to be purchased. So that's how my feel. So I know Lego's expensive. I feel like it's getting too expensive. It's starting to become really unattainable for a lot of people. I am not for that. I feel like they're doing too much. And I feel like I feel like a bubble's gonna pop soon.
Yeah.
So I already feel it with everyone like you kind of see it when COVID ended. People started going back into work, and now people are actually being forced back into the office. So there's really less time for people to buy Lego. You can see it just going to like a BAM, going to a Bricks and Minifix. Like what's on the shelves, like there's a lot of more recent stuff. So people are giving them away. There's more inventory of that. So it's just like, does this really hold the value that you think it does? So,
Right.
like it's definitely feels different in comparison to when I first arrived. Again, like when I first arrived, like anybody who first comes back into the hobby or gets into the hobby the first time, it's like you want to get everything, right? So you're
Right.
like, you kind of indulge yourself and like gluttony with like Lego, try to pick up everything you can. If there's a promo, if there's this, you just want to get something. And then you run out of space. And then things get too expensive. And then you're like, what do I do? So the honeymoon is definitely over, but I'm still here. And
It's a good marriage.
It's a great marriage so far. And it's for me specifically, it's been one hell of an effed up journey, but I'm in the positive. So and I guess I could like continue with that. When I got back into Lego, I was a store manager for Urban Outfitters. I don't know if you guys know what that is. Yeah, so I used to, after college, well, I was kind of working after the Marine Corps. I kind of, I was working for Urban Outfitters while I was going to college, and then I was kind of just going full time. And when I graduated college, I was intending to go to law school, and I just did not want to do that. So I just I'm like, are there any store manager positions? And I took one, and then I kind of just rotated between different stores within the Los Angeles area as I progressed through that career. And then I got into Lego. But when I got into Lego, a store manager position opened up in the very store that I used to walk by when I was younger. So the same store that I saw with Cafe Corner, Greengrocer, that store had an opening position. So I was kind of lured that way. And yeah, that was and I got the job. So like I got to see the inner workings of what running a Lego store does. It was so much less stress than what I was doing before. But I did find out some pretty bad things about how they view the AFOL. So, you know, they're very distrusting on, and this is back then. This is not, I'm not gonna say this is how they are now. At least the store and the people who I was around, there was very not, they weren't trusting on AFOLs. And when they found out that I was an AFOL and who I was affiliated to, like MR Productions and that crew of people, they weren't happy. So yeah, long story short, I got terminated for decision making for for multiple reasons that they were trying to find, which was like allowing my staff to go home for the holidays. And
how dare you?
Yeah, right. And since I was salary, I don't change my schedule. I'm just there all day, not putting myself opening to close or opening and or close. I'm like, well, I'm here every day. So, anyways, when I got terminated, they were trying to find the reasons to get rid of me, and they got rid of me. So Lego did me dirty. So I'm never.
And now they send you free sets.
This whole story is taking quite the turn.
It's pretty jacked up. I mean, it's definitely out there. When I got terminated, like I didn't really like. I had a YouTube channel here. It wasn't really big. It was just me vlogging, like my family. There was Lego in it. I wouldn't call it a Lego channel. I guess it could because there was a lot of Lego in it, but like I didn't cover news. I didn't cover the leaks. It was just vlogging. I just vlogged. I kind of mimicked. I don't know if you guys know who Brickatech is. Do you?
Yeah. Well, yep.
Yeah. So Greg, I was a fan of his channel, the Greg's World, before even Lego. So he got into Lego. I got into Lego. He wasn't the catalyst for me getting into Lego, but it kind of worked out. And he somewhere in his earlier videos, he was like, just make a Lego YouTube. You should all do it. I'm like, okay. So I made one. And I wasn't taking this serious. I still kind of don't, but it's that's how I came on here. I've always been into film. I used to make moto videos from my Marine unit. So like I would rewind, and I'm going all over the place, but like in the military, like the naivete of people, like they'll ask you how was it, all those questions that kind of surround that type of questioning. And I would just tell my boys, like, look, I made these videos, just show it to your family. And it's all like PG-13 related, so it's nothing crazy. Something that you could watch over and over again. And kind of lets them know what you've been doing. So I used to make videos like that. Some of them went viral on YouTube in the early days. And they got taken down and then they were re-uploaded again. But I used to like film everything when I was younger, like during football, dance. I recorded everything. I was always by the camera. So making a YouTube channel wasn't like far-fetched. Little did I know of the differences between making a video, like a movie, versus making a YouTube video. Totally different things. But they found out I had a channel. They weren't happy about that. And yeah, so they found out I was a Lego fan because they're like, how come you didn't disclose you're a Lego fan? I'm like, I thought I did. You saw the modular behind me in the video chat, so I don't. But
yeah,
I didn't know that was a problem. Like my training store managers had no problem with it. Why is it a problem now? And mainly is because they found out of my association with like, again, like people within the YouTube community. And it wasn't even like crazy. So again, I wasn't doing anything negative, and I've never been terminated. Like that's the only termination I've had in my entire resume. So and it's the shortest stint. I was only working for Lego for like 6 months.
Wow.
That was it. But it definitely, leading up into my termination, it put me in a very hateful and confusing time into my life. Because at that time, like I was going through counseling, with like this, for things that I've seen and done in Iraq and Afghanistan. So like,
yeah,
I was going through a big thing that I was going through was just kind of decision making. I was going to counseling for decision making. Like I was seeing a shrink to like help me navigate why my decision making at that right now is good, and I'm not like questioning myself. And then Lego terminates me for decision making, and I'm like, whoa, that's so I went to like a downward
Yeah.
spiral. I was like, it was bad. So I didn't know where to like. I didn't know whether to love Lego or hate it. Like it was just a very like angry time. Like I just didn't know what to do. And I was super lost. Like it took me
Mm-hmm.
a minute to really kind of like pick it up again. And not like a minute, like it took a lot of effort to me putting a set together. And I didn't really lose the love of it. So I just went harder on, making content, like kind of ignoring it, I guess. But I definitely went back to counseling harder. I was there like all the time and then trying to, them trying to console me as much as best they could. But luckily I had a good support system, both in person and
Mm-hmm.
online. So that kind of got me out of that. It made me take this more YouTube stuff more seriously because I had something to prove. Like I wanted Lego to like understand like I wasn't what you thought I was, and I had something to myself to prove. Like I'm like, am I really a bad decision making at decision making? And I'm like, so I had a lot going on, and then I was also supposed to get the Christmas X-wing. That was
Oh
they
no.
literally had the Christmas X-wing for me, and then since I got terminated, in December, I didn't get it. So they terminated me right before my birthday, Christmas, and my daughter was born. So I had a hardcore vendetta against Lego at that time. Um, but as fast forward till today, I got the X-Wing. Pretty penny for that one. And I'm a Lego ambassador. So
It's come full circle, right?
So
yeah. So
I don't want to like dig into this too much. And I appreciate you sharing that with us because I think clearly it's still kind of tough to talk about, and I could tell how much you care about it and how much it seems like it stung in the moment and still probably does to some extent. Have you ever talked to Lego since then about like what occurred? Like, has there ever been any sort of reconciliation between you and Lego in that capacity, or is that something you've really just worked on yourself to kind of get over and move on from?
I can't talk to the people who terminated me because they got terminated themselves.
Okay, well,
That might tell you enough right
yeah, I was
there,
gonna
right?
say that
Well,
might be your own vindication.
yeah, when I found that out that they were no longer, and these aren't people that were like, these are pretty high up people. So again, I was a store manager, so obviously you can kind of see the levels and where it went up. So those people no longer work for the company. I don't know the reasons behind their termination. I just know they no longer work there. But that, although that was a little bit of satisfaction, I really kind of got over it when, forgive me, I didn't get over it, but I felt better when I started hearing how my staff felt about my leadership.
Yeah,
So that really helped the healing process because that store like went down in morale significantly. So I've been told. Um, because one of the things in the Marine Corps is like you take care of your troops, right? So I
yeah,
did my best to take care of their needs, whether professionally or at home. Like if they needed time off, if they just needed this, I made sure that they had everything they need to be able to function as an employee. Um, so whether that be little things like, you know, hanging, giving them their own individual spaces within a hallway by like being able to hang your apron and putting a picture, like, like giving them investment into the store. Soon as like I was terminated, like the people that came in, like immediately removed every single type of everything that I've implemented. So to
Mhm.
completely erase my leadership. So that really affected them. And then it got so bad that no store manager that came in after me to kind of help out to make the store function. Like it just wasn't working. So they sat them all down and they're like, what's going on? And then two or three of the employees were like, what happened to Shy? So obviously
Yeah.
they weren't able to disclose any of it. So they were like we like they were pretty much defending me.
yeah,
So, when I heard that, I was just like, "Okay." So
yeah,
it wasn't me. So, that was pretty much it. Like, I didn't do anything nefarious. Like, I kinda wish I did at this point, like I stole something or gave money away, but I didn't do any of that. The what triggered the termination was, my store was responsible for handling the brick, the excess sets that they would need for Lego Master Season 1, because that was filmed right here in Los Angeles.
Mhm.
So if the producers needed a set or 5 or 10, they would come here and I had to facilitate that transaction. So when they came into ours, like the last time, it was for Legos. It was for the Star Wars episode. So if anyone goes back to season 1 Lego Masters and look at that Star Wars episode, that episode, like it really grinds on my gears because that was the reason why I got terminated. Because so they bought all these Lego sets. I told them to come in like right before the store opened because this is like 2 weeks before Black Friday, so I just need to get you in and out. So I got them what they needed, and I told them specifically to return it back to my location of all the sets you don't use. What do? They go to another store and return everything, and that triggered the whole that triggered everything. Like something was shady going on until when they came in to terminate me, it was explainable. It's like, no, this is for Lego Masters. Look. And I had all my receipts, and they're like, crap. What else can we find? So that's when I started looking around the store and trying to figure out other ways to terminate me. So they already had a reason, or they already had the intention of terminating me before they even, got in there. They just trying to find excuses. So, eh. So I'm good. I'm good with it. I don't need to like give me a real reason. Honestly, it based on what I was told, like being, their behavior towards AFOLs, like what they told me, like they straight up said, like, we don't trust AFOLs. And I'm like, okay, I'll just keep that to myself.
Yeah.
And then like, like that distrust, like I had no history of like doing anything bad. So I was just like, okay, I'll just eat it. So I just ate it. Like I just ate it and moved on.
Wouldn't you want brand ambassadors and supporters of the brand working at the store?
Yeah, I mean,
I
your
did
best
that.
representative.
I told my district, I'm like, look, he's a Lego, like to like a little field test. Like, look, 2 of those employees, both those brick specialists, he's a Lego fan, she's not. Let's see who sells. And then it's always the one that can talk to the thing. And like the thing is, like all my, they ask you to do the survey, right? On the end, they really put a lot of stock into the NPS survey, like or NPS score. So there's a lot of, I'm tooting my own horn here, but there was a lot of positive comment and feedback just on my name alone. So like, I obviously wasn't doing anything bad because it's everything here. Like the store is up. We're doing well as a store. Staff's happy. Customers are happy. What is it? Like, what is it about me?
Yeah.
So that really, because of that, because I was very confident in what I was doing, telling me that I'm like not good enough definitely was a very like, by Lego of all companies, was definitely hurtful. So again, am I over it? I guess you can tell I'm not. But I definitely have a lot of I'm standing taller than I did before now than I was back then.
Good. Well, and I think I just, not to like, you heard from your employees that you made an impact, a positive impact on their experience. And I don't think, I mean, what else do you need, right? Like you said, that's the most important thing, is like taking care of your people, and your people felt taken care of when you were there. Like that's wonderful. So, I mean, I feel like, yeah, unfortunate circumstances, right? But like, I feel like you did everything you needed to, and like that you should be proud of your time, like at the end of the day, because it sounds like you were making a real difference.
That's exactly what my therapist told me.
You can send the check to West at AFOLs.
No, yeah, yes, you're right, and that's what my therapist continued. Like as much as like you want to tell yourself that you're still hurt, you still, because I was lost again. Like I didn't know where to go with this. You can tell me. It's like when you have YouTube comments, right? You could have 99 good comments telling you how great this video is, and then you have that one comment that says you suck. This is
your
horrible.
Voice is dumb. You suck.
Whatever. And then you just gravitate towards that one comment versus 99 other comments that were, very positive and supportive. So it's, I guess, I had to keep reminding myself that, and my therapist, yourself, my boys, my wife, like everybody was like, when they found I got terminated, they were all in shock. They were like, what the hell? So they were mad for me. So, but they were, they did really good in trying to support, my mental health. Am I over it? But I definitely am a lot better than I was back then with getting into land. That definitely was that was definitely closure.
One, and now, arguably too, the impact that you get to have as a brand ambassador is pretty significant too. And it sounds like from what little you've shared, you have a little bit of a ability to, in a very specific way, give direct feedback to the Lego group in a way that not everybody can. And to some extent too, sounds like that your feedback is valued. So, I mean, that's pretty special. So
I appreciate that, man. I mean, just me getting to land was a shock.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Like just being an open veteran who supports who's very loud about being in the military. Like buys a lot of the third party Lego military stuff from Brickmania, Brick Veteran, who does a lot of the customs. Like I have Iraq and Afghanistan veteran on my hat. We all know how Lego feels about the military. So for me to get into land was not only a shock to myself but to everybody else that was like, oh shoot, that's different. So I don't know. Like I don't know how I feel about me being an ambassador right now. I feel like I'm not doing what I need to be doing. But then again, I really haven't defined how I'm going to impact land to this day. Like I've been trying to figure it out since. Like I'm trying to push for veteran recognition, and I've hit a brick wall with that a couple times. So, and rightfully so, you get the politics around the world. Lego just doesn't want to be involved in that, and I'm not going to force that. But for them to recognize us as a community within the Lego space is a big deal because we never thought that would be a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
so,
do you find too? I mean, they're a Danish-based company, right? They're Danish, so as far as supporting U.S. veterans go, it may not be top of priority. So how do you kind of like balance some of that, right? And kind of you almost have to really sell it on them because there's not an inherent, I don't want to use the word bias, but there's not that inherent like, gravity that's pulling them towards the sympathy for it there, right? Because it's culturally, being a veteran can mean something very different in multiple countries, right? Like in Korea, for example, like you have to do military service when I think it's like 18, right? You have to go for a year. Everybody goes for a year and then you come back, right? So it's a very different experience depending on where you are, right?
I mean, I know how. I'm not ignorant to how Europe feels about the military, like that type of thing. I mean, I don't know, might change within these past couple of years, but at least back then, like it's not, it's definitely, yeah, right. It's definitely, post World War II, don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole type of idea, right? It's, but for us, it's the complete opposite. Like that's our largest industry. So, when I applied to land, I got denied the first 2 times. The third time, like I really went hard on the veteran side. Like I mentioned in the first 2, but I got denied both times. The third time, I was just like, you know what? I want closure. Like I want real closure. Because the first time I got feedback from land telling me that I wasn't big enough, which I thought was kind of a BS excuse. And then the second time I got a generic answer and I didn't really follow up. So this one was going to be like my farewell closure to the Lego group as a whole, with like working for Lego and then the online persona. So I really went, I put my heart into this application. So like there's a question in there is like define your community. And then there's another question there somewhere is like, why do you want to be in land? How do we benefit? How do you benefit from being in the program? And I gave them numbers. Like there's this many veterans in the United States at a given time. There are this many service members and men and women at a given time. These are how many of them lose their lives at any given month or day or time. And I have military support. You can look at these videos when I call them out. Military veterans from not only the United States, but Canada, UK, Norway, like, Philippines, Korea. Like I can name the list of people who have like said, I'm a part of the military in this country. So there is a fandom of it. And what has Lego done to acknowledge it? And I kind of threw it all on the table. And then at Brickworld 2000, or last year Brickworld, or the year before now, I guess you would say. Yeah, no, last year Brickworld is when I found out. So like they came up to me and they asked we just finished. Wait, they literally told me that, hey, we finished watching your channel, reviewing your channel, and we like what we see. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, who are you? And then and then so when I found out who they were, they're like, I'm like, so what does this mean? Am I in? Am I out? And they're like, well, we can't really say it, but I don't think you have anything to worry about. I'm like, oh, all right. One question, and this is going to determine whether or not I accept it or not in my mind. Can I continue wearing the hat? Which is the Iraqi Afghanistan veteran. Because if I wasn't allowed to wear it, I wouldn't accept the invitation. And she looked at it really hard, and she's like, "We support our veterans."
Oh,
so
wonderful.
yes, and I'm like, "Oh, can I tell somebody? Who can I tell?" She's like, "You can't tell nobody." And I'm like, "But I really want to tell somebody. Can I tell them?" Pointing at Emily and Ross, Emma Soros and her husband. I'm like, "Can I tell them? Come on, I gotta tell them." And they're like, she just walked away. I'm like, so I texted on my phone.
So they did say no.
I just walked away. So I put it on my phone. I didn't really say it because I kind of went around. I text messaged myself. I'm like, hey, Emily, Ross, come here. So they're both taller than me. So they both came right here. And I'm like, look at my phone. So they're like, why? I'm like, just look at my freaking phone. So like I got into LAN. And then they gave me like the biggest hug because I consider the sources like one of my closer friends within this space, so they know what but more intimately. So they know like the struggles that I've had since my entire time being in the community. So when getting in, they got to share that with me, and I was just like, I won.
You did it.
Yeah. So it was me getting to LAN was a very it was more than just getting into LAN. It was definitely a way of closing out that chapter of my life, that of questioning who I was, because identity was a struggle.
How do you feel like your military background has kind of influenced and shaped how you've engaged in the hobby? I mean, because it seems very like a large passion for you, right? To specifically engage in Lego, but engage as a veteran. And is it the kind of stress relieving aspect of building Lego? What about it has kind of pulled you in?
So I've always been since my return so I went to Iraq when I was 18. I was the youngest Marine in Iraq. How I know that? Because I was, the Marine Corps does like Marine Corps birthday. So we cut like, the oldest Marine cuts the cake and gives it to the youngest Marine. And so they always say the birth dates, which is funny. So I know I'm the youngest Marine because I was out of my company battalion. I was the youngest one. Even the whole Marine Expeditionary Force, I was the one receiving the cake, but I was definitely younger than the Marine they had up there. So I could definitely tote that I was the youngest Marine in Iraq. I wasn't really mentally capable to be able to handle the things at that time. And we all know, like, you're going to war at, like, you're seeing crap you shouldn't be seeing at that young of an age.
That nobody should be seeing.
That nobody
let
should
alone,
be seeing.
Yeah.
So I definitely grew up real quick. But when I coming back, being able to cope with all that was very hard. So I got into motorcycles, and it became a very dangerous lifestyle. So, like, I would from when I was that point of my time until when my kids were born, all I had was a bike. Yeah, I had a car every now and then, but my main means of transportation was a motorcycle. So I would like commute, like going to school full time, going to work full time, and having a full time job, going different parts of Los Angeles. I was doing it on a motorcycle, and after a while, I would not sleep. Like I would get like 2 hours, maybe a day. So I would start falling asleep on the bike. Like that's how bad it got. But the motorcycle was my way of being able to cope with whatever's going on inside my mind and in my heart too. So just the thrill of excitement was that. And whenever I felt like I needed an outlet, the bike was my thing, and that's the reason why I started my motorcycle club that I'm part of now. So that was my getaway until I had my children. And at that point, I'm like, oh, I need to buy a car.
I feel like I know where
so
this
I
is
still
going.
ride to this day, but, like, it's definitely different, like, I'm not doing wheelies like I used to, I'm not splitting lanes in between 2 semis, like, I'm not going a buck 10, buck 20 everywhere, I'm going, like, a little bit over the speed limit, but I'm kinda chill. When I say a little bit over the speed, I'm going 90, but I'm not going, like, 120. But, I'm not on the bike all the time, and, for a little bit, I was kind of, like, getting antsy. So Lego was a big part of, like, that keeping me occupied, keep my mind focused,
Uh-huh.
and it was definitely positive for my mental health. So as a veteran going through stuff, Lego has been a very positive impact on my way of life. Well, not my wallet, but at least my way of life, like mentally. And I see the benefit that, like, we all do with helping people who, just need an outlet. I mean, we
Uh-huh.
all build for our own reasons, and for me, that was a good one for that. So I try to push Lego to as many people as I can, especially veterans. Like, the funnest part is literally watching my Marine brothers or my biker brothers walk into this room. Right? These are like scary looking dudes, and they come in here and they become kids again. It's like
Yeah.
the most fascinating thing to ever see, or ever witness, because it's just like you think that these tough dudes who are trying to be hard, and then they come in here and they're like, whoa.
Did you see how this roller coaster works? You crank it and it go. Whoa, yeah, you've
Yeah,
definitely
the
mesmerized, right?
especially when I turn the lights, because they'll come in here, the lights will be
Mm-hmm.
off, and I flip the switch, and then the lights turn on, they twinkle, and they're like, "Oh my god!" So there's definitely innocence behind it, and like you know which is also the reason why I got into like the military Lego side. Like, I didn't know what the military Lego side was, like the Brickmania, Brick Veteran. I didn't understand why Lego didn't like it or didn't want to do it at the time. But even myself seeing like a Marine vehicle being done, it kind of brings back the innocence of why I joined the military, because I was naive back then, right? You
Yeah.
join because all these whatever, and then reality hits, and then it's kind of a dark place. So then it brings even that passion back with like my military life. So it's been such a positive impact with not only myself, but with my relationship with my wife and being a father. That felt very commercial. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, it's hard to capture anything more than that, right? Because like you're hitting on that experience, and I'm not a therapist, so I can't sit here and break any of that down. But like to the extent that you mentioned, like seeing these big tough dudes and these bikers and these veterans coming and seeing Lego, like if you're 18 and you've experienced something like war, you know, there's a lot of studies about how like your brain doesn't fully form, especially in men, until like you're in your mid 20s and late 20s. So there's still some
Hmm.
like late childhood development going on at that point in your life. And like you said, you grew up very fast. And so to get a chance to kind of go back and recapture some of the innocence that maybe you weren't able to experience, or, you experienced in a different lens
Hmm.
is I'm sure extremely cathartic and powerful. And just, we've talked about on our channel the therapeutic benefits of Lego, and I'd be really interested to see over the next decade or so if there's a really solid study done on like the ability to use Lego to help treat symptoms of PTSD. Because I would not be surprised if there's a strong correlation there, um, and certainly some sort of causation of the therapeutic benefit of Lego helping with that, whether it's sort of the whimsy and reigniting some of that childhood imagination,
Mm-hmm.
or if it's just some of you know, um, the benefit. We had a veterinarian reach out to us in a few episodes ago, and he said, after a long day of working in the clinic, just building a set kind of allows me to turn my mind off and just kind of hit like a Zen state. And I think that's something, that's a very clear benefit for everybody. So yeah, I mean, wonderful to hear from your end of that. That was your experience, and it just awesome. So
Thanks. The idleness is scary for me. Like, chaos is scary for me. So I'm a very OCD person. I don't know if that developed as a kid or that really amplified as I was in the military. Um, but I like to know where everything's at. I like I like to put things together. So a chaotic mess like really messes me up. But like idleness is like the most scary thing for me.
Yeah.
So to build, like to focus on something other than my own issues as a distraction, but also reflect when you're done. Like why do you fix your bed in the morning? Like what like it's so you have you've accomplished something for that day already, and also you have a nice bed to go in if your day is crappy. But like it's just one of those things where it's a self it's an accomplishment to do like build a Lego set, whether it's small or
Mhm.
big. So I try to whenever one of my boys go to get into it, I'll bring them a Lego set. Like I have a ton. And then I just tell them to build and then tell me a story. So, one, they're telling me a story if they can tell me a story. They're breathing because now they're no longer like thinking about their own stuff. So it calms their heart rate down and they're able to breathe. And then if they finish a build, which is they never do, they they challenge themselves to build it later and then they feel a sense of accomplishment whether they actually complete it or not. So I've seen sorry, I've seen the benefits of it help it like with veterans around me. I did take part with another AFOL around here who's using. Are you guys familiar with Lego Serious Play?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Nope.
So Lego Serious Play, like it's mainly used in like the corporate setting. So like
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
but so my friend decided to use it, not towards people who want to like think outside the box. Like let's use it on people who might benefit from building Lego and would never touch it. So, he took this group of individual. Well, he continues to do it. As I help him out every now and then, but we use Lego Serious Play with uh homeless veterans. I mean, they're not really homeless because they're in a shelter, like they're in this organization,
Mhm.
but these are veterans without their own home. So they're going through their own stuff. And this organization not only has veterans, but it has like it's like a halfway house. So like there's ex-cons and then there's other at-risk people there too. There's ex-cons and there's veterans who aren't so clean. Like they're going through stuff in their lives. And you're watching them like build Lego for the first time. And we're challenging them in ways that you have to think in a corporate world, like to kind of think outside the box to themselves. So like
Mhm.
if you pick up like a 2x2 brick, right? It's a green 2x2 brick, like, what do you see? And the obvious answer is a brick, right? It looks like a Lego brick. But you could just be like, well, this Lego brick can mean a bunch of things. This could be broccoli. It could be a tree. This could be a home, or this can be your life. So like making them think more creatively goes in so many directions because they're in fight or flight mode.
Uh-huh.
So they're not really thinking in that way. So to get them to be creative, kind of unleashes again the innocence that they had when they used to imagine stuff as a kid. So there is a benefit to Lego, and making Lego realize that um was definitely not easy.
Have they engaged with you more on that at all? Like since you've started with LAN or is there, I mean, I, you know, it sounds like you're doing some great work. And so,
I've asked for support and I've been denied a couple times. Um Yeah, like I've had some instances here in Los Angeles. Being in LA, you all remember. I don't know if you guys remember what happened to Los Angeles like this past January with it burning down.
yeah.
Um,
Uh-huh.
I tried to get some Lego support towards fans here, and I got denied. So a lot of it came on my own pocket, which is fine. I keep a stash of large sets like in my garage just to give out. So but it would be nice to get like a little thing that says, with the Lego logo. I see them do it all the time. They give it to like big influencers, not in Lego, like, athletes and stuff. They just give us box, here, we love you. But then like these kids might like this is a tax write-off for you and it does a lot of things. Like you could probably,
Yeah.
but I couldn't sell well enough. So you know, they haven't really helped me in that way. They've given me resources to, get donations. So I'm like, I can do that myself. I don't need that. I just wanted something with your logo on it to say that you supported them.
Right.
But they haven't really helped me. I've kind of like not given up, but I'm not, I guess you would say, looking to depend on them. for
Mhm.
helping the community, if that makes sense.
Have you thought
So
of, for the serious play stuff, creating a lug and then utilizing some of the lug resources for that?
I don't have time for a lug. Only
Fair
Fair
because like
enough.
enough.
I run a motorcycle club. Well, not anymore. Like I stepped down, but like I'm there for guidance, and just running a motorcycle club scattered throughout California and other states is it's a full time job. Not only that, family, and then my Lego, on YouTube, all that kind of stuff online. It's a lot of work, let alone my actual day job. So I want to be a part of a lug. Like I want to take part in that. But I don't have the capacity
Yeah.
for it.
There's certain commitments when it comes to a lug too, because
Mhm.
I think you have to do so many displays publicly a year and stuff like that so that you can get discounted
Mhm.
bricks essentially.
Yeah. Every lug's different. I know LA has like 4.
Uh-huh.
But like I know the one that's closest to me, there's like 90 people in there. And they're not as strict about that, but yeah, I don't know what their rules are to be able to receive lug bulk. I'm not even supposed to be talking about lug bulk. I don't even know why. Everyone knows what lug bulk is.
You can Google it.
They're like, you can't talk about lug bulk, but everybody knows what lug bulk is. So, but even though like I think I do a good job because like I like to stock up on Lego again. Like I look for Lego deals and just stock up. Um, and I have enough to give away if I really need to. So, and my motorcycle club has been a big help if I really need the finances to be able to do something large and big like that. So I already have the support. It's just not coming from Lego. But all assists I do get from Lego, I give them back to the community. So technically, I could do that. So like they're technically helping me already with that.
So as you've kind of grown and changed in the hobby, what's something what's one way you used to engage with the hobby that's kind of maybe you've kind of gone away from or don't do as much anymore? Because
Ooh.
you've got a very interesting AFOL journey here. Not many,
I haven't
not
even talked about
many.
the online side yet. I just talked about like the physical side. Oh man. Oh, I don't know. Like I want to know how to answer that question. Like, there's a lot has changed in like the past like even year, right? At
Yeah,
God's Land, that kind of changed the whole dynamic of what I post now. And I don't know if it's for the better or for the worse, but it definitely makes it a lot the expectation is definitely higher. I am very grateful because I'm not one to do reviews. Like I don't like doing reviews. I used to do reviews for like other companies and stuff like that, and even a little bit about Lego. But that's not my thing. That's not what I got big on YouTube for, or my growth on YouTube came from. And that's not what I'm known for. So even on my application to land, I'm like, I don't want to do reviews. So if that's what you expect of me, that's not what I'm here
yeah,
for. And actually, land doesn't really want you to do reviews. So a lot of people that they bring in, a lot of them didn't do reviews before, but then when they come in, they end up doing reviews, and they're like, "But that's not why we like you. Like, do what you
yeah.
were doing before." But as I've said multiple times, like being creative in on like social media is very difficult, and if you don't know if it's gonna win, so they give you a Lego set, and you want to do something different with it, you don't know if it's gonna perform well. You're just taking a shot at the dark, and it's very stressful and takes a lot of time to think outside the box aside from doing a review. Aside from doing a review, like doing a review is very easy. Open the box, show it what it does, you're done. So if you're
Uh-huh.
getting a ton of that, it makes sense, right? But if you take a box and you're like, how can I do something different with this? That takes time. It takes way longer to do that, and you don't even know if it's going to succeed afterwards. So I get why a lot of land members get stuck into the review like realm, but with me, I gave them the expectation in the very beginning. I don't want to do reviews, but with that being said, a lot of the stuff they're sending me, a lot of the because they do send me like paid gigs, which is great. I'm making more money now doing this stuff than I ever done before. So having a little bit of side pot to be able to increase the hobby is definitely cool.
Yeah.
So they've been giving me a lot of paid gigs, so that always takes priority because now I'm professionally liable for what I project. So um that's been taking up a lot of time. So in online space, seeing how things change, like it's just been a roller coaster of like how what I post online, my friends that I made online, how the community itself has changed because it's not the same from when I first got here. It was very intimate back then. And then COVID happened. And then when COVID happened, everyone was kind of working from home, and I wasn't working from home. I got screwed. Like my in between job from Lego to what I do now was working for the post office. The first week I was at the post office as a letter carrier, the world shut down.
Yeah.
But you know who didn't shut down aside from the hospitals?
The mail.
Post
Delivery. The post office.
You were delivering
UPS,
Lego.
I was delivering Lego. Like I was everywhere. I was working like all day, every day, and that also drove me
And
insane.
we were home wiping down our boxes with Clorox wipes after you dropped them off because that's just
Exactly.
what
I'm
we were
like,
doing then for a
COVID
couple
doesn't
weeks.
transport up that. Yeah, it was a fun time. Like I actually enjoyed the post office work until they abused the crap out of me because you didn't rest.
Yeah.
But like even at those times, like all the relationships that I have now, within like that I really call like my close personal friends on the online space, like we like got close during COVID. Like all we did was this little conversation right here. So more people came in, the dynamic and the not dynamic. That was the wrong word to use.
The prestige. I remember at the time it was kind of like, oh, you're a COVID AFOL. Like I was here before COVID.
Oh yeah, I guess I can say that. I mean, that was a thing for a little bit. People were like handing on people that came into COVID. Like, no, we have a lot more cooler people. Like, women.
The more people, the better, right? Yeah,
there's more women in this space. It's a lot more colorful than it was before. And you got people from like different parts of like life. Like, it wasn't just the nerd like in the background. It's like everybody was in it. Like everybody was. It started to become more mainstream. It was great. But you just couldn't go anywhere. So we're all just stuck building online. And that's really when even though I didn't have any time for, YouTube, Instagram, any of that stuff. I was like literally up all night doing what I had to do to be able to grow my own channel. So like having, that period of time where I grew when my friend group really got close, and then when the world opened up, just kind of seeing how Lego changes over the time, just seeing all these newer people come in, seeing where Lego is, like it's not the same. It's been different. Every year has literally been different within the own Lego community, the online space, Lego themselves, animosities, Lego conventions. Like nothing has been consistent. So that's my own opinion about like how the community has been evolving. Where it goes from there, I'm not really sure.
And you joked.
Did I answer your question? I don't even know if I did. I kind of spiraled there.
We're just talking at this point. It's all good. I mean, so you joked about how it's like a marriage, right, with Lego, but it is a long-term relationship sometimes to engage with the hobby, right? And you have to grow and adapt and change as you engage with it in order to continue and do it sustainably. I mean, I kind of went through that recently myself where I was getting a little bit of just collection fatigue and wallet fatigue of like, do I need to go buy this one set because I set up some parameters saying I would if it came out? Like, no, I don't need to. Nothing's making me collect the 15th Marvel 4+ set because I told myself I was going to get every single Marvel set 8 years ago, right? Like, you don't need, you can check yourself a little bit. And so I actually was like, well, what do I enjoy about Lego? And I was like, well, I enjoy being creative and building. And I was like, well, I should start mock building again. Like I haven't really done that in years because I only have limited amount of time. And I was like, I got to go all in on this. So I think it's a really good reminder. And, you're really kind of, your identity is clearly as a veteran, but I think some of that message can be, to other people who aren't, right? You don't have to identify as a veteran to go on this journey as well and listen to kind of some of the life lessons and words that you're sharing here of like, it's okay to change. It's okay to go through something and come out somebody else on the other side and kind of work through it with the literal and figurative Lego bricks, right?
No, literally, yeah. No, I get that. I mean, just what you said there, like, you look at the way I do my content, like back then, again, it was reviews and I did a lot of hauls. And my hauls, what I called them were like stupid epic hauls. So I would wait till I accumulated $1,000 worth of stuff and then I made a video on it. And like in reflection, it was pretty bad, right? I'm like, I'm spending all this money, right? It was fun. It did well because people are like, whoa, that's cool. You spent that. But within a month, I spent $1,000 easily, or within a couple weeks, like I spent $1,000 easily, or even more easily. And that's without using the Brickmania or custom side, like just Lego itself. But there was definitely a light bulb somewhere in there where I'm like, I should probably just stop like this type of like spreading this type of consumerism. So there was a point where I'm like, I'm never doing this again, and I stopped promoting hauls. Like I don't do them anymore. I don't really I used to do things called like break my wallet, and I'll do them every now and then because it's easy content where like I would just online shop and say what I'm gonna buy, or say what I'm actually buying. So I'm actually buying stuff online, but now it's just like I'm window shopping. I'm just like, I like that, but nah, I'm not gonna buy that anymore. So it's definitely changed the way I do content with like, as you progress in your life, like, now I'm into building castles or building my Black Falcon armies or building castle armies. And then I still do the modular thing. Now, as far as like, what works on YouTube, I'm doing what you're not supposed to be doing. So like I haven't, what works well on my channel is my army building. That generates views. What also works well is my modular like series. Like that gets views. Anything else doesn't. So in the online space, if you really want to succeed, you need to niche up. So you need to like, I need one channel just for army building, one channel just for my city, and then another channel with whatever else I want to do. Just play around with everything else. But I don't do that. I just kind of keep it all in one. I do separate my podcasts, both Sitting on a Stoop and before Cali Bricklick. Those are on their own channels. But as far as what I'm doing on my Lego space, it's all kind of jumbled in together. So it's funny if you were to like, and I'm not telling anybody to go back into time to my content because it's pretty bad, but to see
you can go to video and sort by oldest.
If you go look at you can kind of see the progression of like how my content has changed throughout the years in reflection to how the community is changing. Because even there, I used to vlog, like I told you in the beginning, like I vlogged, like I shared my Lego journey with you, right? As the Brickatech would say. But I removed vlogging from my channel, and now that's on its own channel, which I haven't done squat in the past 2 years. But I'm definitely like kind of pulled back in sharing who I am. And as before, I used to be very open about what's going on in my life, if that makes sense. So it's just kind of funny just seeing the changes in what's going on with my own Lego journey as time progresses.
Have you had a favorite type of content to create?
Like army building is like my favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
I love army building, but honestly, my favorite type of content is when I collab with my friends. Like I look forward to doing that the most. That's the reason why I like doing the ranking the modulars, because usually I do them with Emily or Josh or this past time Kiwi. I like collabing. Like I like making videos where only like 2 or 3 people will get this inside joke that I say like 4 minutes in. Like I don't care about it. 100,000 people can see this video, but all I'm really waiting for in that comment section is those 3 people to be like, ha, and a timestamp. Like, that's what I'm looking for. So those are the type of things that I really love doing. So like, just that's the reason why I'm doing my podcast. Like, I like being able to collab and communicate with people. Those are my favorite type of content.
How many little inside jokes have you dropped on this podcast episode that West and I have no idea about?
Actually, none. I've been pretty straightforward. There's no Taylor Swift in this. I've been like, I've been pretty straightforward.
I feel like West and I have developed a couple of those as times have gone on, like Luke's Landspeeder. Like we've got the Luke's Landspeeder award, for the most repeated set, that sort of stuff. So
we definitely have like our hits that we like to return to.
Yeah. So we've enjoyed having you on, Shy. I've got one more question for you, kind of a fun question here.
Good, because I've been taken to a dark hole. I feel like the whole time. I'm sorry.
No,
My
it's
bad.
okay. It's a really important side of engaging with this hobby, right? It really and you know we talked through like maybe it's reconnecting with some of the innocence, or literally putting the pieces back together of your life for the moment, the trauma that you're going through in that day, right? So
That was deep.
oh my gosh, throw that on a t-shirt, right? And just
Right?
throw
That
a
was
two
deep.
by
I
two
love
by
it.
four on a t-shirt, and
Right?
put back the pieces of life together. So,
We can workshop
but
it.
no, I mean, I've even myself, I've the second highest industry of suicide outside of veterans and military is veterinarians, is the veterinary industry. So I've known quite a few doctors who have unfortunately, has struggled in life, and I know quite a few that have started building Lego, and I used to sit in the OR as a surgery assistant, and we would just chat about Lego to kind of get through the rough surgeries, and you bet we'd go home and go build Lego, right? So it's really the more those things in life are the things that are so real, they're scary, right? And so it's kind of being okay to talk about them, and opening up about that is takes a lot of strength. So we appreciate you having on. So we are gonna end on a fun question. If you could have Lego make any minifigure, what would it be?
No rules.
No rules. You can make it, person, thing, whatever you want.
A Marine dress blue.
Ooh, okay.
I mean, I have them in custom form, but
Mm-hmm.
for Lego to do it, it's a tall ask. But they've made the Iron Guard, they made the King/Queen's Guard.
Mm-hmm.
They gotta make the one with the best uniform in the United States. They protect the president technically. So, you know, I think that for me, like the military is definitely a big part of my identity on my online space. Like I have so much support within, just the overall community in general. There's no really, I don't really go through a lot of like issues that many other creators go through. Like just one we mentioned a few of them, like being a COVID fan, right? There's that genre. There's being a woman, like being a woman in this Lego space is it's rough, like to see what they go through. Like I'm very fortunate that the flack that I get is very, it can get political, but it's very minimal at that, right? And there's not a lot of that type of hate in my comment section. So it's just still been nothing but support by not only like the Lego group now, but my friends, the community at large, and then by all these like third party Lego companies that I love to support, like K Town Bricks, Brickmania, Brickmania made me in Lego form Afghanistan looking, and they made the M777 because I was in artillery. Like they made a gun, like an M777 with my unit's name on it.
That's so cool.
They
That's
paid an
cool.
homage to my unit, and like just showing that off to my boys was like, oh, that's crazy. So to see Lego do something like that would be amazing. Will they do it? No, they took the Osprey away from us. But still, if they did that, I think it's a big thing that I know a lot of veterans, not only myself, would appreciate.
What set would you want that minifigure to come in?
A dress blue? Wow, you're really getting me on this one. Like, what? You're like, if Lego came to me tomorrow, and like, you got it. Now, what do we put it in? Like, what do you put a dress blue uniform in? I wouldn't say
You could
the
say
White
a
House.
poly bag. You could say a poly
I mean, a
bag.
poly bag would be great because I could get a lot for a little bit amount of money. They're not shut behind a large paywall.
They'll be like, no, it's gonna be like a $500 UCS
$1,000
or something
UCS.
like that.
Yeah,
and you only get one of them, but you get 6 civilians. So
it's the UCS Camp Pendleton.
Oh, I think.
Can I get 29 palms in UCS, please?
if they, the only way I can see them doing it is if they, I'm not trying to get politics in here. But if they do something in relation to the president,
Yeah.
right? That's the only way I think that would work, because you have the the president's own, which is the band, and you have like his guard that like ceremoniously guard the White House, and then you have Marine One, which is the helicopter that he comes on. So that's like the only way I foresee that happening. So if I were to say working with their own rules to make that happen, I would say build Marine One, which is not a combat helicopter anymore. It's just a transportation vehicle that can do combat stuff but doesn't. I think that would be I think that would be cool to see though. But if honestly, I just want to, if you put a Marine in a Humvee with Just Blues, I would love that too. So that would be great. Give me
one side of the internet would be complaining about the realism.
I want a World War II Sherman. It doesn't make any sense, but that would be funny.
There you go. All right. Well, Shy, we really appreciate you having you on the podcast. We've enjoyed talking with you, and thanks for opening up and sharing your AFOL story. Everybody's is so unique, but we, at the end of the day, we all have the Lego in common. So it's always great to hear another perspective.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate the therapy session. I appreciate you both. Thank you so much.
Brick mail. All right, so big thank you to SHYTIMEismyTIME for joining us. Thank you for coming out and having a conversation about your journey in Lego. West, why don't we hit the brick mail?
Yeah.
So up first here, we have a note from Scarecrow Man, like Scare Snowman. I'm one of those Lego fans that's more classic in disposition. I'm not against Lego ideas, but the problem with every good original product company these days is that they turn from their simplicity identity into a conveyor belt for mainstream entertainment. They need to make Lego ideas more nuanced and highly picky/selective and get back to more of their classic originality. Otherwise, they may end up in a situation similar to the other brands that overextend themselves. IP is a slippery slope. And while I understand your sentiment, I want to gently push back, because I do feel like, they're not using it this way today, but I do feel like Lego Ideas works really well to get a set for the one-off IP that you don't need a full wave for. And I kind of said it last week with like Twister as an example of, you don't need to have 6 different Twister sets. We don't need a cow battle pack, although saying that out loud sounds really cool. We don't need the EMF 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 Twisters. We don't need the UCS Dorothy. Like, one offset of that would be perfect. That's the only one we ever need. So I will say, I understand what you're saying, but I do feel like that is a good use of Lego Ideas. However, I do agree with, I feel like you play Magic the Gathering because that's every Magic player knows exactly what I'm talking about. But Lego's been doing this since early 2000s, right? So definitely seems to be their strategy, and I feel like if they did have a few more original IPs, original themes in general, maybe that feeling wouldn't be placed on Lego Ideas as a whole, and it could kind of fit into that overall theme catalog better. But they don't do that, so I feel like your sentiment is fair of like, well, we already get all these icons has turned into the one-off IP at this point too, right? So kind of feels like there's 2 icons going on and conflicting, and so totally understand and get what you are saying. So thanks for sharing.
Yeah, I think the only thing I'll add is in the early 2000s Grinch, there was a series of like themes that were all separated, right? So city wasn't what city is today. City was just like buildings. There was an airport theme, there was a boats theme, there was a trains theme, there was all sorts of different variations on that. And you would get like this year it's the Coast Guard, next year it's the fire boats, and then the next year it's the police boats, and then we'd get a few trains every year. And I think that could be something Lego could return to realistically and still maintain a significant fan base. We talked about it with the adventurers theme of kind of going like, this could totally be rebooted.
Yeah.
And isn't an IP. So I think there definitely is an opportunity for that. I don't know if that's something that's Lego's working on. So I kind of am sympathetic to his point, but I like your take too about like one-off IPs, right? You kind of one and done and move on. So
I think the challenge though is that Icons is also fulfilling that hole.
Yeah.
So like I get it. I get it.
Yeah. Well, our next comment is from John FC66, who wrote, awesome episode. Love Lego ideas, but they definitely need to change the voting system somehow. Definitely like the idea of having a second round vote. Lots of good sets in this wave. Obviously love all of the Totoro sets as a big Studio Ghibli fan myself. My favorite is actually the Captain Flint Starship from Treasure Planet, which is one of my favorite movies. Sadly, will never happen though. Good shout out to In the Volcano. Definitely think that has great potential to turn into an official set. And I think, yeah, John, we talked about it, right? The voting, definitely something. If this is a problem of too many sets, right, there's got to be a way to kind of address that. So I think Grinch and I kind of holistically talked through probably a few things that are altogether likely, if that's the direction Lego decides to go, to include changing the vote count, maybe to include like a second vote or kind of using the parking lot series a little more aggressively. But there's certainly things that could be done if this was a problem that Lego feels like needs to be solved.
Up next, we have a 5-star iTunes review from Mega Tweet. They write, I listen to the podcast every day, and this is fast becoming a favorite. As an unabashed AFOL, it's so gratifying to have a safe space to revel in the Easter eggs and idiosyncrasies of the world's best, in quote, toys. Their Instagram page is also worth checking out. They do some glorious mocks. Well done, guys. Well, thank you very much, Mega Tweets. Mega Tweet. We are glad you are enjoying the show. It is a safe space here for Lego fandom and nerding out and whatever other fandom pops into your mind. As John, our previous commenter, said, he'd listen to us talk about The Last of Us. So we sometimes go on some rants, but I think it's part of the fun. So we're glad that you're enjoying it and appreciate the comment.
Yeah, and I just need to clarify that the mocks you've seen so far are all creations by Grinch. So credit where credit's due. He's an excellent builder, and it's really fun to see what he puts together.
They all are on our Instagram, though, so you can take some credit.
I will threaten to share my upscaled Grimaud Place mock once it is complete, though. So that will go up as well.
There you go.
Our next comment is from Thorizon8385, who writes, Hi, West and Grinch. I've been listening for a while, and I just got some storage drawers for my Lego, and I've been spending hours sifting through my bins of Lego. Anyway, I was wondering if you guys have a Discord server for this podcast community or just your YouTube channel. And Thorizon, we have many ways that you can get in touch with us. Just as a reminder, you can reach out to us at AFOLsWelcome@gmail.com. We have our Instagram page. We have our YouTube page. And we can also be, you can leave comments on Spotify or, on YouTube. We did have a Discord channel. We still have a Discord channel. It's kind of in a, Grinch, would you call it like it's not frozen, it's still there, you can still go on to it. We're not super active on it at the moment. We're both kind of busy, but we could be more active if that's something you'd be interested in.
I mean, it's a private Discord, so you do need a link. So it was for my old YouTube channel. We transitioned it over, but then like Wes said, we're kind of busy right now, but if it's something that people are wanting, then just let us know, and we will consider being maybe reactivating it. It's hibernating right now.
Yes. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah. But yeah, just let us know. Thank you for emailing in, Thorizon. And that is a wrap of another episode of AFOLs Welcome. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you are listening to this show. If you would like to write the podcast, please email us at afolswelcome@gmail.com or follow us on Instagram at AFOLsWelcome. Thank you for listening, and we will catch you on the next one.